Hey dudes, how's it going? I'm taking a break from my usually scheduled shit posts on this channel to give you some genuine, actual, for realsies, super sincere advice that a lot of other people on the internet have said, but I would like to reiterate because it's very true. I hate cars. Truly, I despise cars. I hate cars so much that this winter I biked every single day. I haven't owned a car in 9 months. I sold my car and I biked absolutely everywhere. But I just landed a new job that was just far enough away that I couldn't quite justify biking. So I broke down and I bought a car. And it sucks. But my car buying experience was relatively pain-free, and I'd like to make yours pain-free too. In as much as a car buying experience can be painless. I've got 4 little rules that I think everyone should adhere to when buying a car, and they're 4 rules that you should not deviate from and always have at the back of your minds, absolutely every single time you buy a car. Rule number 1, every single car dealer is a fucking douchebag. Every single one. Is your best friend a car dealer? I'm sorry, he's a fucking asshole. Is your uncle a car dealer? I'm sorry, he's a fucking asshole. Are you a car dealer? Well, you know that you're a fucking asshole. That is universally true. Every single car dealer you ever meet is going to act like your best friend in the whole wide world. But they are not your fucking friend. They are a huge douchebag who is out there to nickel and dime you for everything you're worth. And they are going to fuck you over. I swear to God. Their whole objective in life is to fuck you over. And you should always remember that. That is the most important rule when buying a car. The car dealer is there to fuck you over. I swear to God. I don't have any further elaboration on this point. I just want you to know they are there to fuck you over. If you've bought a car before, you know this is true. If you've bought multiple cars, you already know this on a fundamental level. But car dealers are the biggest pieces of shit on this planet, aside from maybe cops. Yeah, no, they're a close second to cops. Rule number 2, you can always say no. At any point, you can say no. Unless you have handed over a check and they have given you keys, you can back out of that deal. They're going to make it seem like you're locked into this contract. Even if you have signed paperwork, if you have not given them a check, you can walk the fuck away. In my most recent car buying experience, I had this weird interaction where the car dealer, we were just kind of shooting the shit while I was waiting for paperwork to be drawn up. And he was showing me this weird app. He's like, yeah, we've got this funky little app where it lets you track your car. And here, look at this car on the lot. I can see where it's been driven. And, I live in Portland, Oregon, and cars are stolen every single day. So if you get this app, you can track where it's been, who touched it, the shape and size of the dick that last sat in the seat of this car. It tracks everything, dude. And I was like, yeah, man, that's cool. Whatever. Okay, sure. And then I go into start signing the paperwork. And I was buying this shit, Hyundai Accent. I was like, I just need something cheap that will get me to my job that I can pay off in 2 years and be done with. And suddenly the price jumped from $10,000 to $14,000. And I was like, yo, what's this? I thought we settled on $10,000. And the chick who was drawing up the paperwork, she was like, oh yeah, that $4,000 is for that app. I was like, what app? She was like, the app you said you wanted, the app that lets you track the dick size of whoever sat in your seat last. And I was like, I didn't want that app. She was like, oh, but you expressed interest. So I just threw it in there. And I was like, I don't want that fucking app. I'm not going to pay $4,000 for a bullshit app that's going to be taken off the App Store in 2 years once it's obsolete. Who the fuck are you? And she acted all distraught. She was like, oh man, oh gosh, oh fuck me. I'm going to have to drop all this paperwork again. Here, just sit tight for 4 hours while I drop all this paperwork again because it's going to take me 4 hours to take this off of the paperwork. I was like, chill, dog. Okay, I will sit for 4 hours. And suddenly, miracle of miracles, it took like 10 seconds to drop the paperwork again. They are going to do everything in their power to fuck you over, which includes adding random like $4,000 add-ons at the last seconds. I had even signed that paperwork before I had been like, whoa, where's this $4,000 coming from? But as soon as I was like, yeah, I'm not proceeding until you take that $4,000 off, they just took it back. Like, I had signed the paperwork, but I was still able to be like, yeah, no, I don't want this. I am not giving you money until you take this off. And they did it. Rule number 3, and this is a rule that I have never followed, and I have always wished that I had, like, desperately. This is the rule that prompted me to make this video. Get the inspection. Every single time I've bought a car, I've test driven the car, I've, kicked the tires, I've looked under the hood, and I'm like, yeah, this is sick, this is fine. But every single time I've driven off the lot, something has gone wrong. In my most recent car purchase, I drove off the lot, and literally, I shit you not, when I was driving off the lot at like 6 p.m., the sun was in my eyes, something that hadn't happened when I test drove it at like noon. And I pulled down the sun visor, and the little mirror that's in the sun visor fell into my lap on the fucking highway. And like, that's something that would have come up in the inspection, because like, I didn't think to take down the sun visor. Like, I didn't think to inspect the fucking mirror. And my car, it doesn't have any mechanical problems as far as I can tell. I hope none crop up. But I've encountered very similar problems that would have come up and that I very much could have asked for money off of, or insisted that they get fixed before I walk the car off the lot. About a day after I got my car, the headlight burnt out. I don't know if that's something a mechanic could inspect. I don't think the car dealer was trying to fuck me over in that particular regard, because like, who can tell when a light bulb's going to go out? But it was just another issue that made me regret buying my car. And there are so many small issues like that will appear when you get a car inspection. And even if your car is mechanically sound, you probably want that mirror in your sun visor, right? And finally, rule number 4, you're not pressed for time. Girl, you have so much time on your hands when buying a car. The car dealer is the one who's looking to close the deal. When I was buying my car, I walked in and I said, I have not been pre-approved for loan. I do not have car insurance. I am shopping for cars. I want to make sure that this is the right car for me. I want to make sure that this is like a sound investment, because I'm going to be paying $250 a month for the next 4 goddamn years of my life. And I want to make sure that this car lasts until I am financially stable enough to sell this bitch. And through every stage of the process, the douchebag car dealer was telling me like, we got to get you in this car today. We got to get you out the door with this car today. And I kept saying like, no, I'm not going to call my bank. I'm not going to get pre-approval for a loan. I am going to test drive this car. I'm going to inspect it. I'm going to take a look at everything I want. I'm going to think about what I want to do. And then I'm going to walk out that door, and I will come back tomorrow, or maybe the next day, or maybe never. And then I will buy this car. And it was a frustrating experience, to say the least. They will try to goad you. They'll pressure you. They said to me when I was inspecting the car that I ultimately bought, they said, in the state of Oregon, we can't legally hold a car. I don't know if that's true. I mean, it might be. And they were like, we've had a lot of people taking a look at this 2014 shitbox Hyundai Elantra or Accent or whatever the fuck car I bought. And they were like, somebody might buy this tomorrow if you don't buy it right now. And I told the dude like, oh man, that would suck. But I guess I'll look at a different car if somebody else buys it. And what do you know? They were able to hold it for 2 weeks while I made my decision. And everything about them is based on like high pressure, like high time commitment sales tactics. I bank with an out-of-state bank. I have this bank in Utah that I've been with since I was 14 years old. I'm not switching banks. I like my bank. I have a good credit score because I've been with the same bank for like 15 fucking years. And And they were not happy with the fact that I would have to get a check mailed from the state of Utah to the state of Oregon, and that it would take like a week to get that check. And so they were telling me, like, oh, you could just finance the car through us. Oh, hey, there's this credit union here. You like credit unions. Like, hey, there's a credit union here. You like credit unions, right? Why don't you get a loan through them? And they can just like immediately transfer the payment to us, and you can walk out today with that car. And I insisted, like, no, I like my bank. I don't give a fuck if it's going to take a week. If somebody buys that car within that week, so be it. Whatever, I'll find a different car. And you know what? Surprisingly, they held the car for me. So anyway, the crux of this video is I want you to know, when you buy a car, you as the consumer hold all the power, at least initially. As soon as you drive off the lot with a car in the United States of America, you're fucked. You're on your own. Whatever they were able to fuck you over with, you're stuck with. But in the process of actually buying a car, you have all of the power. I want you to say no to car dealers. I want you to tell them you don't want their piece of shit app. I want you to make them wait. Because that's how you make sure that you buy a good car. You know, the car that I bought is a shitbox. But it's a shitbox that I am reasonably certain is going to last me until I have the financial freedom to not have a car again. And that's what you need in a car. Anyway, back to my regularly scheduled shit posts tomorrow.